All right, hello everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now Global Series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. If you are new to me, new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe so that you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, all the shows coming up. There's 495, 96 videos there, so there's a lot of wisdom there for you. Wisdom, healings, processes, etc. So it is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring forward to you these amazing speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their healings, their clearings, etc., so that we could all awaken to happiness now, and so that we can all thrive in our lives. And so, of course, Cathleena has been with us many, many times. We love having her. I was just saying earlier, it's always a high vibe call, high energy. And the process, of course, that Cathleena does is, amazing, so transformational. So stay tuned for that. So today we are talking about restoring the original soul fragmentation and releasing the imprint of enslavement from the body and brain and being, etc. So we're going to be talking about that. And of course, if you don't know Cathleena, I'm sure most of you do, but she is an embodiment of the divine feminine who works with the Council of Nine Collective and other ascended masters. Her coding accesses the womb water of an individual's birth so that they are brought back to their original soul expression, creating a rebirth to allow full expression of the soul's imprint. As the lineage of the life architect, her crystalline DNA signature not only carries the frequency of perfect pitch to align to the original human template, earth template, and this universe's template, but continually recalibrates this alignment. So I'm excited, like always. We always have such a wonderful call, and the energy and of course questions are always amazing. So everyone, please join me in welcoming Cathleena back to the show. Cathleena, welcome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Always happy to be here, Laura. Always see what kind of co-creation we're going to have today.
Absolutely. And of course, it is still, Thanksgiving weekend. We'll call it, I know it's Friday, but it's still part of the weekend. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you American folks celebrating everywhere. But for me, it's always Thanksgiving. It's always a day to give thanks. There's always an opportunity to be in gratitude. So happy Thanksgiving to all of you. I'm so grateful for all of you who are here now and who are going to watch later on the replay. And hopefully for those of you who are celebrating, I hope you're having that wonderful, yummy food and having a wonderful time with family and friends. And if you are driving and traveling, please stay safe. Okay. So, Cathleena, this imprint of enslavement. Wow.
Yeah.
This is going to be big. I don't even think people recognize or understand how deep this, I'm going to call it a wound, this wound or imprint of enslavement is, right?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Prior to coming on, I was, kind of downloading a lot of information and feeling the levels of how we play this game. We enslave ourselves in so many ways. I mean, so many subtle ways of like it's really through the mind. It's definitely through thought in which we do it. And so, I mean, that's one of the biggest ways we enslave ourselves inside of our belief systems within our own container of the body. We have these belief systems of even what the body can and can't do. We don't know. And so we don't realize what we're creating, right? So because we are creators and we create through our thought and our emotions. And I was thinking about this, like how this containers, like a goldfish, for instance, will stay small in a fishbowl. But if you take that goldfish and you allow it to go into a greater body of water, it will actually grow larger. And this is the interesting thing about ourselves. I was thinking about creating and manifesting, and particularly creating like the life that you desire. And if we are limiting ourselves within a certain container, then we can only grow within the size of that particular container. Just like a plant will only grow in a pot to a certain size, and then we have to move it into another pot in order for it to continue to grow. And so we want to look at this energetics within ourself, like, where am I containing myself, and to what degree? Am I so contained within my body that my belief systems are so limiting me that I can't breathe, that I'm tense all the time? What am I doing? And this is why I talk about this a lot, that the body's everything, right? This is the millionaire, this is the relationship, this is everything, because we are source consciousness having this expression through the physical body, where we are energy and frequency. And we, in order for us to have a physical reality, we need a kind of container, and the body's the container, right? But we are not, in the body is within us. And when we can allow this physical body basically to let go of the densities and all of the, belief systems and all of the inversions, then it naturally aligns with this much larger container of your I am presence, which, you go through sort of stages of this awakening of your, connecting to your higher self and your oversoul, and then, your true I am presence as prime creator, which is why my energetic field is quite large, because it's, I'm very expanded in my energetics. But think about that within the earth. We are not on the earth. We're one with the earth. And so when we realize, which we're coming into the awakening, that we are the elements, we are air, water, earth, fire, ether, and the diamond, blue, plasmic flame, the 6 elements. And so we are the trees and the plants and so on. And so, if we don't walk around in the separation, and to what degree are we separating? There's just so much of it. We isolate in our homes. We isolate, away from people. We can be outside in a crowd and we pull our energy, we pull away. We do. What are we doing? And these are all connected to this enslavement program. I mean, there's many other programs, judgment and frequencies, all the different things that are there, but that enslavement is us enslaving ourselves in this fear of letting go and being, free and being inclusive, and we desire these things, but we desire them from the human mind's direction of what we think things are. So it's really amazing, and the depths and the degrees of where this takes place is pretty incredible. So yeah, there's so much to this.
And that's the thing, I think, with when you're looking at this and looking at your life, of course, we start off with our immediate life, our body, our immediate family, then our community, etc. But it's about us even going bigger than that. Like you said, as we connect to our higher self, our oversoul, our I am presence, it's about connecting to the universe and what is, and creator and all that is, and letting go of those limitations and those enslavements that we have programmed ourselves with, or other people have programmed us, doesn't matter. But we have somehow bought into some of those belief systems and some of those paradigms and programs that don't serve us, that are not even maybe valid or true for us. But at some point we said, okay, yeah, I'll look at this, and then it's stuck, right? And so those enslavements are so deep that we don't even realize that they're there, or that they're that could be an enslavement. We might think, oh, no, that's not me. I don't do that. I don't have that. That's somebody else does that. I don't do that.
Yeah. Well, we don't know who we are, and we're afraid to discover it. We're afraid to step into our uniqueness, because it isn't that we have to discover, basically, or let go of or try to connect to things. It is the letting go of all that I am not, that I am automatically one with everything. So it's when I can drop into that neutrality, which the authentic neutrality is that present moment. I got my feet on the floor, I'm looking at my eyes, I'm literally in my room. So I'm in that 0 point when and as I am, my I am, that me is right here in that pure innocence as the child on the playground. I'm literally one with everything. I am my multidimensional self. So I'm all things. And so if I allow myself to explore, because if you think about what God consciousness is, and in the way that I think of, I see source, God, if you will, is like a giant library of information. It's really like infinite calibrations of geometry, but it is this unconditional love. And why is it unconditional love? And what is unconditional love? Because that's really what we're saying, is that when we can unconditionally love myself, and what does that mean? It means I give myself permission to explore, to have the life in which is innate to me, that my heart is guiding me towards, not my mind. Okay. And why? Because that is source consciousness. Because source consciousness itself, the idea that I know is that there's this energy we call source, right? And that source knew itself conceptually, the concept of itself, but it did not know itself experientially, the experience of itself. So it had to create a mirror aspect of itself, which is in essence the light and the dark aspect. And so within that, the idea of creating the mirror aspect was to now have experience. And so then we are this God in physical form to have an experience, to show God its own magnificence through experience. That's it, right? So this idea of good and bad, right and wrong, this evil and good, none of that exists, because it's all God consciousness, and it's all part of this experience. Because the light and the dark, the light serves you as much as the dark serves you. And I was thinking about this as an example of like a plant. If you take a seed and you where do you put it? You put it in the dirt, and it has to grow roots. So it goes into the darkness. It goes into the unknown. That's what that is. It's the unknown. So we go into the unknown, creating the roots within the unknown, and then the stem comes up as we're dropping into the unknown. Then the energy comes up to connect, and then we have leaves, and we see the light, and we start to go, oh wow, okay, what can I do? And then we bear fruit, and then that fruit creates another seed, and then we plant it again. And so what is that? That's us, right? That's who we are. So if we're the seed that gets to be planted in the roots into the unknown, and allowing that. But we don't do that, because we're like, no, we're told, okay, you're this, you're that, you're this, you're that. So we don't take the time to allow ourselves to root. And what is rooting? Rooting is exploring, checking it out, right? Because that's what the roots are doing. They're going in and they're finding things, and they're finding the nutrition, and they're like, oh, that's curious. Let me see what I got. And as we're doing that, it comes up, And so this is really, if we can start to have this as sort of our concept of ourself and how we're creating. And so if your life is not what you desire, take a pause and open and realize what's happening here. Because if if this plant, say, doesn't have roots, isn't there, then how can I create or bear fruit? What am I doing, right? What am I doing in the world? And so this is why this course is part of this. Like, and I've explained this before, that like, if on my website, everything on the beginning part of my website up to, I've got new courses I'm doing now, is all about the rooting into Gaia. That's what this is. And that's a big part of this. This is restoring the original soul fragment and releasing the imprint of enslavement. And so the fragmentation of the soul is when, we take on a belief system. So instead of us allowing ourselves to go and explore, we pull those roots, we hold those roots, and we stand there, and we're like, oh, wait, I can only do this, or I can only do that. But it's like, until I bring that back home and I release that imprint of that, which is what we're doing, and how do I do that? It's about the mastering of the mind, right? So it's looking at how am I, it's beginning to feel. And so what are we really doing? It's not just about mastering the mind. It's about taking the mind into the heart. when we can bring our mind into our heart. And what does that feel like? That's when I can notice I've got a thought, but there's an emotion connected to this. What am I really feeling? So say you're even, next to a person, and you have a certain thought of what you need to say. You focus on that thought, but what if instead you began to focus on the feeling and begin to talk like, wait a minute, what am I feeling? And how can I bring that feeling into neutral? How can I bring that into neutrality? Because bringing that into a place of neutrality is taking those roots. It's beginning to bring that self in. And from that, maybe we still have a certain conversation, but now we're coming from this place of openness, from my heart, from my true I am presence. I'm beginning to say, okay, wait a minute, who am I? And I'm getting braver, in this energetic. So like, woo, and I'm moving through all of these energetic fields that are around me that have been dictating and holding me in this enslavement programming and all these different programmings that I'm in. I'm like, wait, okay, how do I do this? And it's really this simplistic idea of simply being and taking a breath and letting go in this present moment, because it's this whole story that plays out that says, oh my gosh, this is all going to happen. And then it does happen because we're consciousness and energy, and we unintentionally bring it into our field, because we're thinking it and then we're projecting the emotions with it, right? So so I say this a lot, that this is really easy and really hard at the same time, right? The easy part is let go and be yourself. The hard part is let go and be yourself. But it's just about breath, and it's about, starting here and really loving her or him, and really just allowing that present moment and that discovery. And the thing is, because we're multidimensional, in that discovery, you're going to start discovering who you've been, why you're here, what your true mission is, and all the clues that you've left yourself in this reality to remember who you are. Because everything that comes into your reality is an expression of you. Every person that's in your reality is an expression of you. Remember the mirror of source. Everything is a mirror. And so if we can begin to experience from that perspective, and not in a place of judgment or a place of enslaving ourselves, imprisoning ourselves, and hiding ourselves, then we can have the magic in the life that is meant to be in this, what we call the new earth, and this ascension, which is not ascension, it's ascension. We are embodying who we are, and we're letting go of all that we're not. And the thing is, the beauty in that is that because it's a quantum field, and because your energetics is much, much larger than you recognize, this is the biggest gift that you can give to humanity and yourself. But it's also the greatest divine abundance. People say, oh, I want money, but that's not really what we want. We want freedom, we want joy, we want safety, we want health. But we think it's directed through money, and money is the number one enslavement tool on the planet, the number one. And why? Because we have this desire. It's like, it's an addiction. Gotta get the money, but we get the money to give it away. But feel what you desire instead. And because we're master creators, right? So if we can be in that presence, and we can just align to everything that we really feel, I guarantee you all of that you truly desire absolutely will come into your reality, and will come in very fast, because it's divine birthright. We are source consciousness. We are prime creator. We are God conscious in physical form. You are the source of your reality. You are the source of your reality. So it's an amazing experience, and it's just been this game of this inversion that we are unwinding now through really the simplicity of the letting go, of the being in it, right? And allowing that. So you feel that nervousness, that tension, instead of going, oh, I got to get out of it. No, be in it, be with it, in pause as the witnessing observer. Like, and I do that. I'm like, oh, okay, what do you need? What's happening to you? I mean, I'll even talk to my eyes. What do you need? Okay, you're blurry today. What? I love you. What's going on? Let me talk to you. I mean, communicate, love them. That's what it is. It's about, and that's what that divine love is divine love is neutrality. Okay. It's being neutral and saying, what's happening here? Where are we? What's the energetics? Right? This is how we break out of this enslavement that we are self-imposed.
And I think that's the key, is to be the observer, be the witness, instead of going into the emotions or the stories. It's just observing what is going on, what you are perceiving, and asking questions, like you were saying. But I think a lot of times we get caught up in the story. We get caught up in the emotions, and we forget to breathe.
Well, that's the key. It's so the game is, the enslavement program is, we have these limited beliefs. So we come into the world through this template of what we'll call anxiousness, like, because there's so much energetics that's here. So we're dropping into all of these distorted template of fear and judgment and shame. And there's many, many reasons that we're doing this, because, and I've shared this before, that, we're in this inverted matrix, and that, excuse me, we've all participated in this. We've all played perpetrator and perpetrated. And so because we played in the game, and what is that? We've all played in the game of the inorganic power and the inorganic vulnerability. So inorganic power is something greater or less than something else. Organic power is there's nothing greater than that I am. Inorganic vulnerability is a weakness or a fear. Organic vulnerability is, it is what it is, I am what I am. So we're attempting to remember organic power and organic vulnerability, which is, there's nothing greater than that I am. It is what it is, I am what I am. But because we played in this game of the inorganic power and the inorganic vulnerability, at the deepest level of our soul, and many of us, is that there is a mistrust for God and a mistrust for the earth, or a worthiness or a shame or a guilt or whatever, because we feel, oh my gosh, especially if we have this awareness that we are, this, so we'll call sort of higher being awareness, then we say, well, how could I have done these sort of things? But that's why I go back to, what is unconditional love? Unconditional love is the experience. So there is no judgment in any of the experience. And so the sort of goal is to be able to love all of you, all of your journey, and not judge any of the journey. Be like, oh, okay, well, maybe I dabbled in that. Okay, well, what did it bring me? I've learned, and to be into that wisdom of it, and to continue to just notice, what has been my journey? Where is my journey? I mean, it really is this energetic of, just simply observing and noticing what am I doing? Am I playing in this game of the inorganic power? Am I feeling powerless or too powerful? What am I doing? And that's the game. And am I doing it from little me right here? Am I feeling that I'm isolated? Because that's really the ultimate thing, is that's the separation. That's us feeling that we are alone and we're separated. But let's talk about that for a second. So even if I am physically alone, am I abandoning myself in that? Am I staying in my head and not allowing myself to simply be? What would we have to lose by dropping into my body and actually being present? Even if I had nothing being here, what do I have to lose to drop in? And the thing is, when we do that, and I've been in those situations, so, stripped of everything basically, and just dropping into that that present moment and saying, okay, well, wait, this is that controversial moment I had. It's like that surrender. It's like suicide, but not like suicide, like killing yourself. But it is that level of letting go. You're just like, I can't do anything. I just can't. And there's so much freedom in that. That when we do that, that's when we drop into that, like, oh wow, okay. Well, then nothing matters. So it's great. Suddenly you're free. And within that space, that's when we are now in our heart space. And if we allow the thoughts that start to come in, then you can start to feel that energy pulling. We say, no, 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 I'm going to stay here. That's not serving me. I don't want to feel that. I don't want her to feel that. I'm not desiring that. And we're not in denial of it. We're just recognizing we have choices. This is what we want to step into, is our choice about how I feel about something. And that's when you start to get curious and go, well, that's interesting. Well, that came into my, but that isn't, I don't believe that. No, I know that, or I know something else, right? And it gets more and more simple.
So it really is about being honest and true with yourself, and as much as you can in every moment. And that surrender is about surrendering those, what could be, what should be, anything, and just being in that moment and allowing yourself to just be.
Yes, and this is what I keep trying to emphasize, is that's the power, okay? Dropping into your present moment, you're literally one with everything, right? And people say, oh, I can't just stay in my home and dream about stuff and things will be my reality. I say, well, that's not exactly true. Yes, you really can, in the sense that all of the manifestation is in your reality and will come to you. But the thing is you won't just stay in your home. You will do things. You will move into things, because you will have the innate desire that's coming from your heart space, because you came here to explore. So you will explore. The thing is, when you go into the nothingness, which is different from the no thing and all possibilities, then you don't know. And the nothingness is the place of that enslavement. That's the place where you're sitting in your head. You've literally taken your consciousness out of your body. And it's like you're sitting inside your brain, your head, and you're just constantly reevaluating all those belief systems that you've brought in, that are sitting there, and you're reacting all the time to it, until you begin to drop into your eyes, you drop into your ears, you drop into your senses. Like, oh, because when you do that, you're taking your senses into your heart. Okay, because it's been inverted. So the inversion is that, the brain is communicating to the heart instead of the heart communicating the brain. And then the senses are communicating to the brain instead of the heart, through the heart. So we have to wake that up by going, wait, what am I really feeling? What do I hear? And it gets magical. That's it. We're just kids on the playground. And if we allow ourselves, and we just have to keep reminding, okay, so it's not a one and done. I constantly am just like, okay, oh, I'm just going to let go. And I notice, there's little voices or little things you'll notice as your eyes are the windows of the soul. Their master computers are picking up everything, or your sound, is hearing, because we are light, sound, and water, or plasma, basically. And the light portion is the mental masculine portion. The sound is the divine feminine, spiritual, emotional part of our sense of being. And so you don't realize, like, the sounds that come in, and the more so, you don't know all the different frequencies that are being played out. So it's coming into an awareness of, like, something happened to me. What am I feeling? This is interesting. Where is it? And as you do, you'll realize what's happening. Who's it happening to? Is it an age of me? Is it a certain what's taking place? And I try to move away from the word trigger and say awaken. So something has awakened me. What? So if we can be in observation instead of reaction, because the reaction right, is that we're now playing the game of the power, the higher, lower, or the inorganic vulnerability aspect. But if we can simply be in the observer mode and curious, and so what do you need? What happened? I love you. We're good. Huh. And just keep allowing. See, now I'm in the no thing and all possibilities, not the nothingness. Right? Very different. And that's how we step out of that enslavement. The enslavement is the nothingness. It's the place that says, oh my gosh, I don't have choices. I don't know what to do. I'm trapped. Blah, blah, blah. Like, no. Begin to say to yourself, okay, look, so and I've said this before, we can have a literal that says, like, I can literally say, I don't know where my money's coming from. But I can go, oh my God, I don't know where my money's coming from. Or I can go, I don't know. I don't have any idea. And in the second one, right, and I've shared this before, that we literally create through our thought and our emotion, right? So every single thought comes out of your head as a geometric shape, and that thought is the blueprint of your creation. It is the masculine mental part. It is basically the paper. Then you add an emotion to that. The emotion is the fuel. The emotion is the spiritual feminine. It's the person and the pencil. So when you take a thought, you add an emotion, you hold it 14 seconds or longer, then it moves into that unified field, that 0 point, the place of all frequencies. It finds a match to that, goes out into the universe and comes back into reality. So if in that second one I said, if I say, well, I don't have any idea, and I remember then the process, I'm like, well, I don't have any idea. And remember, I'm in the privacy of my own home, in my own body, in my own head. And now I go, well, I don't know, but anything can happen. I mean, I could win the lottery, I could get an inheritance, and anything I don't even know. I wonder how the universe is going to figure this out for me. This is going to be cool. I'm going to explore. And as you do, as you start to feel and get excited and go, wow, let me just feel, magical things can come in. This is how we allow for the magic to come into our reality, the unknown to become known, the roots to go in and explore, to allow for a tree to come up and go, so my roots are exploring into the unknown, and then I'm standing there going, now I'm the plant that's out getting the light and saying, oh, cool. What do I get to explore? Because it's exploring and it's starting to bring something into your awareness. And now you get to look at it. Oh, what's that? And what's there? Right? Instead of like, oh my God, I don't have any choices. And this is the magic. And this is the magic to creating the life that you really desire. But it's knowing, what do you really desire? What do you really want? What is your passion? What are you passionate about? We don't even know. Half the times we don't even have that. I've had that many times in my life that I had no sense of direction. I was like, what am I doing? And it's okay. We don't have to know. Maybe what I know is that I love ice cream and I'm going to have an ice cream today. Or, I'm going to go for a walk. It doesn't, we complicate with this overthought, and we also are taught this urgency. I've got to get somewhere. But remember, we're here for the experience. There isn't a somewhere to get. I don't have to get, and we're taught to get out of something as well, either out of something or towards something, instead of be here with it. So that's what I'm saying. So instead of trying to get out of the emotions, love them. I say to myself, I love every emotion. When you're feeling anxiousness or fear, begin to say, I love my emotions. I love everyone. Even as you're feeling fear, say, I love, and feel it from your heart, really, that like, I love every one of my emotions. Because what you're actually doing is you're taking your consciousness to that emotion. So many things are happening because all we're doing is matching frequencies to be comfortable in this reality. You, as your I am presence, are vibrating at the fastest rate there is. And by universal law, higher vibrating frequencies always try to raise lower ones up to match them, right? So if I'm, feeling this anxiousness, energetics, or fear, and I say, I love every one of my emotions, I'm now bringing that frequency of love to that fear, and so it's going to dissipate. And so it will become, you suddenly become in this place of relaxation. But we have to, in order to do that, we have to own that maybe there's some comfort in fear. Maybe there's some comfort in anxiousness. We're familiar with it. We've identified it. Why? Because what I said earlier, that we played in this game of perpetrator and perpetrated, in this game of, the power. And so we're carrying levels of shame and guilt and so on. And so there's this worthiness program, and we don't realize, so we're not feeling worthy. And so we have to drop into that, like, what part of me is not feeling worthy, and love her or him, to be in, again, that neutrality.
So again, it's about being in the 0 point. I know we're going to talk about that. Well, basically, we are talking about that right now. But it's about being in the 0 point and not being, I'm going to say, led by our thoughts, led by our emotions, but instead it's about being present and being in the 0 point and just allowing ourselves to be and experience and observe. I know it sounds,
Yes.
again, it sounds simple, but it's not, right? And it takes
Well,
practice.
yeah. So to be in the witnessing observer of self, an example might be, I've shared, I think, this example, I don't know if I've shared it here, but I had I'm in a different apartment right now, but I was in another place, and I had met this one person, and we sort of were becoming friends, and she said that she's going to introduce me to another person. And I said, okay. And so I happened to be walking around this building this particular day, and I see the two of them together, and we come together for a moment, and we say hello, and she introduces me to this other person. I say hello, and then they walk away, and I walk away because we're in two separate directions. And I had this voice that I became aware of that said, oh, they're not going to like you. You're not going to connect with them. You're too spiritual. You're too this. And I was like, so I noticed it. And it was the younger me, and I immediately was like, huh. And I said to her, no, I love you. It's okay. You know what? It doesn't matter. We're good. We're just going to be very present. So that's that being present. And I even went as far as to tell this person that story when I saw her again, to bring that energetic out. And so this is the type of thing, as you just start to notice yourself, you become the observer of yourself. Like, there's another you right here. And you notice, and if you start to notice even yourself within your own home, instead of being yourself in your head in this image of yourself, because this is this difference between this is what quantum entanglement aspect is it's this difference between knowing myself, that I am source consciousness, having an experience called Cathleena, and being Cathleena instead. If I'm being Cathleena, who am I being? So that's what you start to notice. If your reality is not what you desire, then notice yourself, and notice yourself from a thought and an emotional perspective. What are my thoughts? What do I continually thought? And what emotions am I doing? How am I carrying myself? I mean, one of the times when I first woke myself up to this, I was, in sleeping, I was like hovering over my bed all the time. I was never resting into my bed. I realized I was always like on, I'm like, why am I like this? And how can I relax and let go? What's happening? And so I just had to keep talking to her, like going deeper and diving deep. And I went to small child, I went to different levels, and just, as an observer, because we have memory, but then we hold on to those, and we embrace those, and we stay those, and we become those. And but it's like become the observer of that. Like, okay, why would I? And then you can go beyond, like, I have awareness of different things that took place as a baby, and I can have that awareness in my human, and we allow for those emotions and whatever take place. But then we can go deeper and say, okay, well, if I'm God consciousness, why would I bring that experience in for myself? Because we bring everything in. Okay, we're never a victim. And so then you can go deeper, like, okay, well, how is that on a bigger level serving me? And that begins to open up another template for yourself, because we're opening up these different templates of our own awareness as we're just kind of, coming in. And that's what this big awakening is. that's happening to us. And that's that breaking out of all the different levels of enslavement. That's bringing in the soul fragments. It's loving every part of myself. It's coming into that neutrality, because what we're really coming into or desiring to come into is unity consciousness, sovereignty. Sovereignty simply means self-governed internally. That I am that I am. I'm self-governed. You know, it's going between. So it's like we have the light, the dark, and the light, and then we have this in between. And it's like going, and that's what we're discovering in between that and coming out of that into the complete nothingness, the no thing and all possibilities aspect of self, where we're no longer separate. You know, we don't have the separation. And I'm in that field, so I'm actually bringing that field to you. I have succeeded that in my energetics at this present moment. So
Yes.
you may feel that, you know, in that energetic field. So I'm carrying
Exactly.
that
Yeah,
thread.
so I'm glad you mentioned that, because I was just thinking that, so this is not just a conversation that we're having.
No.
Cathleena is holding that state, holding that space. And of course, as that holder of that space, um, we're also in that as well now, right?
Yes.
So be willing
Yes, you
to
are.
receive it.
And many things are happening too. I'm not arbitrarily talking. There's lots of layers and levels of energetics, which I'm sure all of you are feeling to some degree.
Yes, exactly. So there was a question in the chat around when we're talking about enslavement, um, with respect to a past life or to past lives. So because we are still, it's a belief system, it's part of our belief system that we are still connected to our past life, or we're still being affected by our past lives. So obviously, so that would be at the enslavement part, right? We're still
Well,
being enslaved by it.
well, here's the thing about those. Yes and no. So what that means is that those aspects of self, if you have not brought them home into your heart, they are still playing out as whatever role they played out. So it's all about this lifetime. It's all about who am I, and the depths and levels of what are we really doing? I'm very dedicated to service to humanity. This is just what I've always felt. And I always felt that I was dedicated to service to humanity. But I came to an awareness at some point, some chronological time ago, that I was actually service to self, thinking that I was service to humanity. And some of the ways that we do that, because of these timelines of all of our different participations, are the ways that we hide, or we pull in, or we judge. And we don't realize that those energetics, that we're doing, we're actually unintentionally in a type of judgment of others, because we wouldn't pull away if we weren't in some type of judgment. We think it's positive because I'm shy, or I don't want to hurt them, or I don't want to be afraid. But if I am pulling away and I don't want to do something, then I'm somehow in judgment. So I'm in judgment that something about them, and we think it's like a positive aspect. But the mere act of the judgment is the service to self. I'm still operating in this place of judgment. So to allow yourself to simply be, and to be in the energetics, is to welcome back in all those parts of self that are dialing. So why would I pull away? Okay, because I'm feeling some type of shame. So if I am feeling shame, most likely it's because I was some type of perpetrator in some other lifetime or something like that. And that energetic is still hanging out. And that energetic is the one that's still talking to you, that's having you feel shame. So until we can come into that neutrality and then, experience that aspect of self, that part of self that quote unquote was, we'll call the perpetrator and played in some game, and begin to see that there is no perpetrator, it's simply an experience, and allow that being to feel that. It's basically what we're attempting to do, is to look through the eyes of God as God, seeing God in all things, all things. And this is this unconditional love of everything. When we make judgments in things, these are significant of aspects of self, of timelines, of our own participation. We wouldn't be doing that if we didn't have some type of participation. Remember, the mirror, it's mirror. So that's why it's noticing, where am I in judgment? Where am I in prejudice? Where am I in separation? Where am I, I'm pushing this in, I'm pushing that away. And it's not to say that we don't have kind of ideas of preferences, but it's different than judgments of things, right? It's very different, the subtleties of things where we have a fear. It's a fear. The judgment is a fear, like, ooh, I can't, I can connect with that, or I do, no, that's not like me. But everything is like you because we're all one. But if we have that, then that's significant of something, some timeline, some aspect of self that's still in that energetics. So that's when if we, again, I keep going back, if we address it here, that's when we can connect into those aspects of self and bring them home. And like in my case, I can see them, the different beings, the different aspects, the different places, and allow them to come into, my heart space. And that's really what we're doing. We're welcoming in all aspects of self, whether this lifetime or other lifetimes. But if you can come into that neutrality here and just begin to notice, that's why this game, that's why I keep saying it's really easy and really hard.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so I encourage, it's through the mind that says it's separate. It's a different lifetime. It's outside of me. There's nothing outside of me. It's a quantum field. It's all here as one. But it's all playing out in how all the different ways that I'm playing out. What am I doing? Am I, sometimes we have, as a woman, you may have like okay, I'm not going to look that way at this particular man or this particular person or whatever, because I feel the energetics of that, but that's a judgment in there. But what if instead I open my field and I feel, okay, what's going on, and let that person find their way into that, in the field of whatever it is. And then the natural energetics become together. We push away the things that are really meant to be in, and we pull towards the things that aren't, very commonly, because we're controlling and adjusting the energetics, because we have fear. We have as much fear of love as we do of hate or darkness. It's all this game. And so, it's about, I was saying this to somebody earlier, it's that place. You ever had that place where, you're just, you just feel so awkward and just like, I don't even know where to look. I can't, and you just want to get out of it, and you don't know what to do. And so it's letting yourself just be in that crazy, awkward, I don't even know what I'm feeling place, and just letting it figure itself out. Continue.
Yeah.
And that's one of the hardest places that I found for myself, because that's that real vulnerability. That's when your super innocence is right there. But boy, when you can move through that, it's so freeing. It's like, and it's not a one and done.
No.
No, I
Yeah.
still have that happen. And I'm like, oh, what just happened to me? And it's like an aspect of self suddenly is forward. I'm like, what is happening? Why am I like, I'm me? What is this happening here? And then I talked to her. I was like, oh, okay, there's a little me that's like figuring this out. So like, okay, cool. Just let it happen. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And sometimes that's the state that we need to be in, just being in allowance, being vulnerable, and just let it be
Exactly.
instead
Be
of
as
trying to
goofy
figure it
as,
out and control it.
yeah, be as goofy as weird as whatever. Just let it, because we're energy and frequency, and there's all these energies around. It's like sometimes it just becomes so much. You're like, oh, I don't even know, and just
Yeah,
let yourself be it.
yeah, exactly. We have some people with their hand raised and other questions in the chat as well. So let's just take a few quick questions, and I don't know what they're going to ask. I never know. Like, so,
Sure.
Asha, you want to unmute yourself? Hi.
Hi,
Hi. Asha, are
Hi.
you there?
hi, Shefali. Yes, hi, Cathleena.
Hi.
I was just having some stuckness with the unmute button.
No worries.
Um, so my question is, I think I'm definitely really enjoying what you're teaching and the knowledge that you're giving us, Cathleena. And my question is, um, as you like I've been listening to like many healers have been with Shefali for a little bit now, and like many healers come on board and there's different modalities. So with what you're teaching and how to navigate life and how to, I guess, renew, I guess, and reset to remembrance from, how we were supposed to come into the world, like how do you like integrate different modalities into like just being the observer, and like I'm just trying to figure out like how does that play into other things with the goal of remembering, I guess, who we are, right? Being our empowered self and being able to really trust and know and manifest for our greatest and highest good. I hope that makes sense.
Yes. Well, it's being the witnessing observer of all the various modalities, and so we can be in the modality, we can learn it, we can have the expression of it, like whether it's Reiki or whether it's tarot or whatever, we can have that, and then we can pull the lens back and be the observer of the whole process in my reality as my I am presence. Like, why is this in my field? So like the example might be, say, tarot or something. If we're learning that, okay, so I'm learning it, but why am I learning it? Why did I choose that? What is this bringing me? Is it bringing me awareness of some type of communication? Is it why would I bring this into my reality? And that's really next levels of how you can operate in that neutrality of the things that come into your reality. Okay, it's being the witnessing observer in a much larger capacity. It's like for myself, like I knew that any of those type of modalities, I could do any of them. They all were coming to me, and when I was in my humanness, trying to be something and show up and make a living and create a, blah, 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 I kept, okay, I can line to this and I can do that, but it never felt right. It was too stagnant. It was like indicate, and I was like, what are these pieces? And then that's when I opened my template. I was like, oh, I'm much larger than this template. I have to do something different. And that was a very challenging thing because I couldn't find anyone that was doing what I was doing or had the information. So I couldn't get it validated. In our humanness, we want it validated before we step out, because we're like, oh, that's the fear. Like, I don't want to do anything wrong. I don't want to say anything. I got to, what am I doing? And that's again all part of the game, because remember, you are a absolute unique aspect of Prime Creator. You are a unique library of information. There's no one like you. So the way that you organize things or put things together, there may be no evidence, quote unquote, on the planet that validates that to a degree that, your awareness says, I'm saying something, valid here. So that's why it goes back to getting to know yourself. And it's like that bravery, so to speak, to be able to show up just as your I am presence. Like with myself, even with light language, when I first had light language, I was like, I don't do light language. Everybody else does, not my thing, because it didn't feel like comfortable for me. But there's these sounds coming out, and I was just like, and I was like, what is the sounds? And even with the first client, I just let it happen, and I became the observer. I had no idea what I was saying. I had no idea what was going on, but I just observed. It was like there was another me over here, and I'm observing myself and the sound. And I started to notice that what was happening is that the things that I would have said in a human language were being said very fast in lots of different ways and levels, and all these different things were happening. So it was this like super fast way of shifting things. And I was like, oh, okay, yes, I'm going to move into this. And I could see the geometries. And so this is the idea, and this is, I feel like, is what wants to come into your reality, is for you to, instead of compartmentalizing the modalities or the information, look at it from a bigger picture. If you're drawn to Alara, particularly, and the various different people that she brings, Alara has her own template. And she brings within her template a certain degree of people, and different people have, even if some of the people go around different ways, the way in which they communicate, the way in which they are. So this is the bigger picture that wants to open up for you. And because I can feel there's a lot of compartmentalizing, but it wants to just open up in a larger template for you, which is, I'm already in your energetics, and that's already happening. And when I go into the activation I'm going to do, this is going to really start to organize that for you in a much greater way. And what I see is, it's like, take a piece of this, a piece of that, and a piece of that, and let those come together for your template. And that's going to bring you into a greater awareness of who you are. So it's already occurring as I'm looking at your DNA. So hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, hopefully that helps, Asha. Of course, I would suggest you go back and watch or listen again, because there was a lot of energetics in that, as well as information.
Oh, it's definitely helped. It's just, I guess, trusting the process, that everything that I'm learning, the pieces that I'm supposed to learn is going to come together, right, and integrate. And then I can create something uniquely for me. So that definitely makes sense.
Yes, as you let go, as you stop trying to make it come together from your brain, as you more observe from your heart space, why are these things in my reality, and what aspects of these do I resonate with, it aligns with me, and you allow yourself, it's giving yourself permission in the neutrality to discover it, not through the mind. That's all about, that's the enslavement program, right? Because it's all about your motivation. It's like, if I go to create a course, and if my motivation is, how many people and how much money, then I'm coming from little me. I'm narrowing myself in, it's my mind. But if instead I open my heart and I just feel it, and I download, which is what happens to me, I download something and then I write it, and then I do have a structure, it has a certain number, it has a dollar amount, then that's very different. Then I'm free. It's not attached to me. I'm not attached to it. I'm not limiting it. I'm actually allowing it. So it's the difference of your motivation.
It makes sense, because I feel like sometimes I'm just, my brain is just too active, very analytical. So it naturally tends to like filter the information or try to make sense of it. I think that's probably where my biggest struggle is, in terms of like, okay, how do you take all these unique things and put them together? But it makes sense what you're saying. It's just going with the intuition and just letting it come together without using my mind and that way to put together, because then I get very confused.
Well, bringing your mind into your heart. So yes, being very analytical, and I can feel this energetics, is that you do have a lot of geometry, a lot of a lot of, you know, the mental energetics, which I have in my field. So, you know, so what you end up doing is going to be something in relationship to that. But the overthinking happens because you're in an urgency to create something, because you've got all the underlying things behind it, which is, you know, scarcity, or, you know, that I have to find my uniqueness, because that's the other, you know, big enslavement aspect, is that we're taught to go find our uniqueness, which is a separation. I mean, if we go do that, then people don't like us, you know, because you're separate. So you have all these followers, or you have people that reject you. But if instead you are your uniqueness, you know, you feel it and you show up, then it's a welcoming in. It's a very different way of expressing. We don't have to find our uniqueness from the choices of what humanity has. We are unique already. We just need to show up as it. That's the difference.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Asha. And you know, that's key, just showing up as you are.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're gonna go to Anita. Anita, you want to unmute yourself? Hi.
Hi, blessings, and thank you, Cathleena. I have a question. I have been told that I have something that's affecting my heart chakra from my father's side, going back at least 9 generations. And so I'm wondering if there was anything that you might see around my heart, and if maybe you could determine what it represents.
Why do you feel that you have something around your heart from these masculine generations? What is it that you are experiencing in relationship? Did somebody just tell you that, or are you actually experiencing something?
Well, I've been having physical symptoms, and so they come and go. And I'm just wondering if what I've been told is something that I should be concerned about, or how I could maybe work on it to release. If it's something that is negatively affecting it, or maybe it's a positive thing. I'm having a little hard time, because I've been told a couple different things, and I just want to see what you're
What do you
seeing.
feel about what you've been told? Do you feel resonance to having some father energy in your heart space? And what would that represent?
Well, I know that my dad, but see, that was just one generation. So I don't know how far back this actually goes. I was told 9 about self-esteem. I am a very giving person. I've been doing a lot better with receiving, but I don't know. It's just a curiosity, I guess.
I'm going to move in the energy with this just for a second and shift a couple of things before I can answer this. Okay, so just close your eyes for a second, take some deep breaths. Several contracts and agreements, seen and unseen, known and unknown, to hide, to second guess myself, to retreat, to pull in. Take a deep breath. Several contracts and agreements, seen and unseen, known and unknown, with absolute sovereignty and divine forgiveness. Forgive me, forgive you, love me, love you, compassion for me, compassion for you, gratitude for me, gratitude for you. Take a deep breath. Several contracts and agreements of any ownership, any enslavement program to the divine masculine, to this grandfather, elf father. We're going to release this energetics from the heart space, several contracts and agreements, seen and unseen, known and unknown, to this generational masculine enslavement ownership program of the, I guess, like a soul agreement. We're going to sever these contracts and agreements with love, with support, with sovereignty for the divine masculines. Take a deep breath. And I just want you to take a big breath and imagine just like pushing out with your heart space, just pushing out. It's good. Keep pushing it out. Just letting it go. We're going to move that energetic away, and we're going to bring a lot of light around this divine masculine frequency that's very confused as to its own light. So I'm just going to bring this, and I'm going to bring in light in through the heart space of this generational masculine frequency, and bring in, we're going to call in Divine Mother and bring her around this energetic to support this inverted masculine frequency. There we go. Deep breath. It is said, it is so, it is said, it is so, it is said, it is so, it is done, it is done, it is done. I'm free, I'm free, I'm free, I'm that, I'm that, I'm that. So it is, so it is, so it is. Right, take a deep breath. So it is, and so it is, and so it is. All right. Ooh. Okay, how do you feel?
I do feel lighter. I did feel energy releasing from my left palm. And during one point, I did feel a heaviness around my my heart.
Yeah.
And now it feels better.
Yeah, there was a definite, I had to go in deeper, and you had an entity also with that, so I had to move that out of the way to look at it. Yeah, it's cleared. I would not bring it back in. I would continue to breathe out, and this is about your sovereignty. So I think that I would definitely get this course. I think it would be very, very beneficial for you, because this is definitely connected to what this was about.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like an ownership program that was in your energetics, and I'm encouraging you, just keep opening your heart and like almost pushing out, like feeling the energy just opening, and just get excited and be free, and really just like feel the lightness and the energy that's there, and really let that come into your field. I think a lot of really amazing things have opportunity now to come into your field, because that was definitely attached into very deeply into the origination heart space. So move those energetics away. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm definitely going to look into your program. Thank you. I do feel a lot better. I thought something was holding me back, and I just couldn't work on it myself. And with all the different clearings, you know, I've experienced, nothing was really helping. So blessings, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, Anita.
Lots of love to you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go to Janet. Janet C.
Yeah. Hello, Cathleena.
Hello.
I have a question I wanted some clarity on. You talk about how big your field is and opening your field, and that, you know, a lot of us are contracting. We go out in the world and we contract. Years ago, I had one of the tools that, I've been using from spiritual tools from years ago was where we are consciously aware of our aura, our personal aura, 7 layers, 12 layers, and where we, bring it in around our body, maybe 2 to 3 feet, and just, so we know what's ours versus what's out there. And it's also, as a way of, I guess protecting, which I know you probably don't really like that word, but anyway, is that different than the field you're talking about? Is that the bigger, because as I've evolved in my, my consciousness, I know there's that bigger part of us, that connection to source and that big field that comes through us. So is that different than kind of our personal aura?
It's more of allowing for, we'll call the personal aura to organize within the larger field.
Okay.
So that's really kind of what it is, right? It's like we can have our auric field as our humanness, but it's allowing that energetic to kind of within that larger field collecting information, as to who I am, what I am. And so it's allowing, it's just a different way of a sense of presence within, this human journey and the human field. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I just, don't want to am I contradicting my my ascension by, evolving and opening up to more things, but then I'm, contracting by bringing that aura in.
Yeah, well, I think that is something, for you to look at, because if you even the fact that you're asking the questions and there is significant of fear, right? Of like, I've got some fear around this, I've got some doubt around this, so that would be where I would be addressing like, why am my consciousness so aware of the auric field and so aware there's some need to protect some reason that I felt. So there's something that hasn't felt safe in order for you to feel comfortable to be here to explore, like, okay, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And, yeah, I don't usually refer to protecting. However, I do think of like knowing, yes, your own energetic field, particularly as you're developing and getting to know, your own self. So it's kind of like, taking a shower to know if I get dirty. So I, always before I go to sleep, I ask and intend to create a sacred space. I expand my energy 360 degrees, thousands of miles, and only that a pure prime creator, different things. And so it is about becoming aware. And I feel like for you, it's a tool that you in your consciousness is brought in to have you become aware, but maybe your humanness is holding on because there's this nervousness, and it can feel like that because as we begin to go into the higher levels frequencies, there's a lot of information that can come in, particularly now very, very fast. And it can feel like, oh, I don't know, and that's why I keep saying that we really need to have those roots, that grounding before we can really go up. Because if we don't feel safe within the earth, if we're not fully like connected and grounded, it can be very uncomfortable because it's the releasing through the mind that we're really connecting into, the higher dimensional fields. And so it can seem maddening. It can be, we're releasing a lot of those energetics. And so, yeah, and that's what I feel with you. It's like you have a certain comfort, like, okay, I got my field, okay, I'm good. But it's allowing that energetic to soften and open up to a greater, and notice like, what's happening to me? Can I trust? It's a greater level of trust. It's a greater level, support and so on. And that's how I would be working with it within myself. Like, okay, I'm familiar with my field. What happens if I soften it, if I move it, if I allow for it to go a little bit higher frequency, or would, these types of things. And also I think it's part of your template of how you, are communicating with others. And certainly if you're stepping into this type of field, how you would be utilizing, we'll call your energetics or your gift. It's connected to that.
Great. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I love your stuff.
Thank
I
you.
had a session with you a little over a month ago, and it's, man, I've kind of first tangible results that I've actually had after a session with somebody in a very, very long time.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And as I always say, remember, I am a reflection of you. So everything you see in me is in you.
Thank you, Janet. All right, we're gonna do there was a question in the chat from Jay a while ago about, can this help with PTSD? And so
Yes, absolutely. Well, PTSD, is, I mean, it can be, like I said, the things that you feel are this lifetime and most likely this other lifetime. It's everything we're talking about. I mean, we're all having PTSD in some aspect of self through these energetics that are taking place. If we really look at it, if we don't identify with that syndrome and become that, and we just say, well, wait, something's happening in my energy. So just become the witnessing observer again of self. I feel in that energetic with that person that the PTSD aspect is because there's this huge opportunity for an exponential quantum leap in consciousness that's trying to take place. And I think that as it's coming in now, it's sort of an awareness that I think that's what PTSD really is. It's like something in this reality that we've done that's created that is so connected to many other lifetimes that it's just this huge awakening, and we can get stuck in that, or we can let that super uncomfortable whatever and love every part of yourself to allow for that to continue to move. But the most important thing with PTSD, especially the diagnosis aspect, is that really getting comfortable with the earth, because that's how it's being marketed, I guess, too, is through that. You got this energetic that you can't be comfortable here. Well, then that just keeps it inverted. But do everything to get comfortable in the earth. Go out, take your shoes off, sit on the earth, and do everything possible to just really connect with nature, with all of that, and then bring in animals, bring in children, people, things that feel naturally safe and comfortable, and then begin to bring in others and things like that. And I think it begins to shift those energetics. Okay.
awesome. Thank you, Jay. Let us know how that resonates with you. Okay. Tanya, you want to unmute?
Hello, Lara. Hello, Cathleena. Happy to see you all. I'm a bit stuck. I feel I have been a bit stuck lately. Like I go through periods of this huge unconditional love that fills my heart. And then I get into this, I call them karmic connections because I feel like they are karmic because they're intense. And then all of a sudden I kind of find myself in 3D again, and with emotions that I thought I don't have anymore, like jealousy or, or like judgment. Then I realize I kind of, now, because I'm aware of my emotions and my feelings, and I can say to myself, well, you have the same, that you are judging people. You have it in yourself, so why are you judging? So it's, in a way, it's kind of funny, but it is not funny, because sometimes I feel so frustrated, and I feel like sometimes it affects my health, because I kind of go through this high vibration into lower vibrations, and I feel stuck at the moment, and I think I'm trying to get out of it again.
Okay. So let's see. Tanya, let's see what Cathleena has to say. And your internet connection is not that great.
Okay.
Yeah, your connection. Sorry.
Let's see what Cathleena picks up. Okay.
Well, it's what I said earlier, when you get into that place that you're describing, you're in the nothingness. And so we have to drop into the present moment. And we don't want to drop into the present moment because that's when we'll have the real feelings. And this is what it is. It's taking that deeper dive into your own awareness. Like, what am I really doing? You know, why am I drawing these particular people? Why am I, what am I looking for? And it's, you gotta love her deeper. You know, you gotta ask yourself, why am I judging and what am I doing? And that's really this is the journey. You know, it's taking that time to move from your head to your heart space, taking that brain into your heart. This is really what it is. It is that simple. And in other words, it's letting yourself feel uncomfortable. Be in the uncomfortableness. Be in the awareness as the neutral, right? So the body, the human, is in the, oh my God, what am I feeling? But you're the witnessing observer of her, and you keep asking, what do you need? Okay, why are we feeling this? Taking breaths, maybe crying, maybe going deeper, you're bringing in, you know, and just noticing the judgments upon the judgments and saying, I love you, and really being in that neutral. It's like, it's just, I can't emphasize that enough. The more neutrality we're in that 0 point, the more we begin to open up this awareness of what am I really doing? What am I seeking and why? And we're doing all these types of things from worthiness. It's about worthiness programs. It's about, you know, deserving. That's why we have that. And because we played in both sides, because you have a very strong template, and because you've played in, you know, a role of like, you know, a being that comes from a hierarchical energetics that recognizes they have a sense of power, you're carrying that energetic. So you're carrying this kind of like, wait, look at me. And at the other side, you're also carrying the very insecure side, you know, with it, of that, you know, and that's the game, right? And then trust me, I carried both those too. And it's about, wait a minute, what do I really want? Do I want to power over somebody? How does that serve me? That's what I was saying earlier about us being told that we're supposed to find our uniqueness. Well, if I find mine and I align to it from my ego, then I'm going to show up, look at me, I'm Cathleena and I'm powerful, you know, and some of you might be want to follow me, and others are going to go, oh my God, this person's got so much ego, and da, 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 da. Right, you know, and that, but that's the game, and that's what has been in the past, but we're recognizing that, and you know, we play those, and it's very confusing in the human story too, because, you know, like for myself, I would feel how much need, like I would feel that like people need, they're desiring, they want to be helped, but I learned that you cannot save somebody. They have to do it themselves. You cannot. I mean, even situations, circumstances, and this is the same with us. You know, it's like we can't be saved or from anything. I mean, people think they want money. Well, you give it to them, it doesn't change anything, maybe temporarily in some illusionary thing, but it doesn't work that way, right? So it's about ownership. This is the place of bringing in those soul fragments, of saying, wait a minute, why am I carrying this sort of elitist energy at the same time I'm carrying this, you know, fearful energy? And so who is that? And what is that? So there's a being hanging out that's like, you know, I'm strong, but really that being doesn't know what to do. And we want to help them return to light, right? Return to their heart space. So we have to help them, just like, wait, what are you really doing? What do you really want? You know, and this is really yourself. And when you can and feel the difference, it's like we're coming now from the heart space, right? Instead of that mind space. And so now we're moving you out of that nothingness into that no thing and all possibility. So you're probably starting to feel better, because it's like, oh yeah. And see, just the laughing about it and the recognizing, and go, oh yeah, I do carry that elitist, huh? Well, why do I want that? What is that? And not judging it. We're not judging it. We're just noticing it. We're like, okay, well, where's that coming from? Okay, well, let me feel that. Because the world is designed that way, right? This is the enslavement program. That's why I said money is the #1 enslavement tool. So this is how it's done, is through the hierarchical, right? If the haves and the have-nots kind of energetics that's here. But we're all the haves and the have-nots if we choose. And so it doesn't matter, right? And it's all the game of this, way in which we've been playing, but it goes back to here, like, who am I? So we want the avatar, me, how am I showing up? What's my persona and why? But who am I really? And if I want to be something different, I've got to show up. When I learned, like, I was so afraid to really show and talk about my real vulnerability, my truth, because I had, stories. I had one story that wasn't safe. And the other is, well, nobody could support it. Everybody's looking for help. If I can't let them know that I'm feeling this, because they'll go worse into it. And, so we have all these stories of this kind of stuff until you begin to realize, well, wait a minute, I am you, you're me, we're one. And the ascension is not, I'm going to figure it out and then I'm going to teach you it. No, it's we're all going together. It's a oneness, because it's a oneness template. So that's the thing, when you realize, like, oh, my taking a breath, my letting go, my noticing, wow, I'm playing out, I'm jealous. Why? What part of me? And you want to love her. You want to bring in that part, that little you, and tell her, you're amazing, you're beautiful, I love you so much. There's nothing to be jealous of, because I'm right here. I have you. See me? Look who we are. And then when you do that and you get the other one going, yeah, look who we are, then you look at that one and you say, well, okay, but we're also her, the little one, because that's who you really are. And then that other one goes, oh yeah, that's my heart, right? And it's this journey. That's what we do. That's why you laugh. I know, it's great, isn't it? When we can just laugh and go, oh, I know, and it's this wonderful freedom of, like, oh yeah, that's me, and then just dropping that neutrality. Okay, so it's all about just dropping that neutrality once again. So that's why I brought you now, so you're feeling much better. And that's something that you continue to do for yourself, is just notice, okay, I went in my head, I've got this story. All right, wait a minute, what am I doing? Okay, I don't want to feel this. This is why I said, bring it home right here in this body by myself. I have a choice, because through this imprisonment is really 3 frequencies we're playing out: enslavement, imprisonment, and sacrifice. So we're enslaving ourselves within our belief systems, we're imprisoning ourselves within the mind, and then we sacrifice, we sacrifice health and money, whatever. But in that energetics, what we've been trained to do is to bring in the partner or the characters, all that inside our head, standing there in the energy, and we're reacting to them 24/7 until we're not. And that's what we want to do, is realize, like, wait a minute, they can still be there. That's why I shared about, you can have a literal, it says, I don't know where my money's coming from, but I have a choice, and it's that recognition, like, what am I aligning to? Like, okay, yeah, this is going on, but what does that really mean? Why am I giving it this meaning? What part of me is giving it this meaning? How is this making me feel? I'm doing this to myself. Why? I love you. What part needs, to know that they're okay? Okay.
Thank you so much. You helped me a lot. Thank you so much. Thank you, Alara. Thank you, Cathleena. Appreciate it.
You're welcome so much.
Good, thank you, Tanya. All right, one more quick question from Krista, because we still want to do the process from that Cathleena has for us as well, right? The activation process, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. That's okay. There's a lot going on here. So
Yeah.
The
All right, Krista.
expansion of consciousness.
Exactly.
I don't so much have a question. I was more inviting any support that you could offer or bring into my system for the kind of transformation you're describing, because I recognize so much of what I have come through already, and this new terrain that I'm in terms of heart space and oneness, wanting to just witness the victim, perpetrator, rescuer type dynamics that I have lived through and am moving out of. So maybe I'm the right segue into the process, actually.
Yes, you absolutely are. And the one thing that does want to come to you from your higher self is that you are amazing, you are beautiful, you are smart, you are incredible, and know that within yourself and within your own heart. And if that brings emotions, let them happen. Okay.
Thank you. I receive it.
Yeah, it's perfect to go into the activation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Krista.
Okay, so if everybody wants to close their eyes and take some nice deep breaths and step into this. Asutitenigani motitika kakasaniganama. Amusitatayaka. Sekira moto tegala la casa de cotidiano. Joy. Musini shgenata ya. I like a tarea shumati dare konesti. Safe to be me, safe to be free, safe to let go, safe to explore. Snekamatum. I am that I am. I am that I Isn't there game on the yes? Isn't it? And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. It is said, it is so, it is said, it is so, it is said, it is so. I am free, I am free, I am free, I am that. So it is, so it is, so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So many people. I am free. I am free. I am free. Sima, I am that I am. I am that I am. I am that I am. And so it is, and so it is. Thank you, thank you. Take some deep breaths. I'm going to open up the portals in your feet, allowing you to root and ground into the crystalline core of Sophia Gaia. As your crown is completely open to Prime Creator, as above, as below, as below, as above. Begin to imagine energetic roots coming out your legs, out your feet, wrapping around the crystalline core of the earth. These are bright white roots. As I'm bringing this in, I'm going to bring in a golden light. This is you before you ever came into form. And we're going to drop this into the central and peripheral nervous system, brainstem, brain. It's your entire nervous system becoming golden all the way to the fingertips, to the toes, and all the organ structures. I'm going to line that with the golden grid network of Sophia Gaia. I'm going to bring in a royal blue, silver light and pink, white light, Divine Mother, Father, with that golden light of origination into the central and peripheral nervous system, brainstem, brain, balancing out the Hieros Gamos, the masculine, feminine, the Mother, Father, the Trinity, Codex, Mother, Father, Child, mental, physical, spiritual, energetics into your being. I'm going to pull this through the heart space, spinning through all timelines, all dimensional fields, all this lifetime, bringing into this lifetime, the complete balance of that Trinity, Mother, Father, Child, mental, spiritual, physical, emotional template. Okay. Whew. A lot of energy. Drink a lot of water.
Yeah, definitely. I've been doing a lot of yawning during that process and the earlier process. So I'm glad we did the grounding. But I'm still like not quite here yet. But for those of you, let us know in the chat how that was for you, and please do drink some water as well. Okay, and I just want to take a minute. It's still a lot. There's still a lot happening. Just take a minute to share the special offer. I can barely talk. It's okay. I got this. We can do this. So basically to this season, Cathleena has a 9-week series, Restoring the Original Soul, Fragmentation, and Releasing the Imprint of Enslavement. And so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna get Cathleena to talk about it really quickly.
Well, it's a, I think it's a 9-week course, and it actually goes through the brain and body because, of course, the body is the full experience. And it just releases the imprint of enslavement from all the different body systems because, of course, we're taking out all that information in many, many different aspects of the body. And as I said, I highly recommend everybody to do these. They are giving you access points to be able to connect deeper into the earth that will give you then further the ascension aspects for self and all of the things that you are seeking. And I was just even reading one person that sent me a private message about looking for a new vision of opportunities and aspects of self, and this will allow that or encourage that. This particular course in general, there's others as well, but this particular enslavement and releasing that that allows for our energetics to begin to open up to that unknown, because we don't realize how much we've been in the known. And everything I do is in the 0 point. So no matter when you listen, it's in the present moment. Each time you listen, it's in the present moment. These are recorded so you can get them right away and go right into the energetics. And several of you, which you'll feel, I do recommend, thinking about a private session at some point. I'm not offering that on this particular one, but the course is also going to give you a huge expansion in your energetics. So I highly recommend.
Absolutely. And like everything Cathleena said, and there's a payment plan available. And of course, if you're an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. And I don't know about you all, but obviously, just the process that Cathleena did just now, it's like really affecting my whole system. I'm still yawning. I'm still feeling a lot of activity happening in my being. But
yeah, because what just took place was Gaia came forward and Hathors were also here, and there was some huge energetics, and it was about completely allowing for those rooting and going in, and it opened up to the core center and then opened up to the energetics, and I cleared and then brought in your template and brought in that Trinity Codex so that you now have opportunity. I mean, there's a lot, and this is going to continue to open up. So I mean, we had, I had, that was Prime Creator herself. Sophia Creatures of All Living Things was speaking, particularly towards the end part of really bringing her divine frequency, like the highest level frequency of Prime Creator, brought forward and literally communicated to your DNA, and so gave you an upgrade. I mean, that was what took place at the end. I have not even spoken that. That's more recent for me because I'm so one with my template in my origination. So that was pretty incredible gift.
Yeah, that was
So yes, you're gonna
powerful. That was
feel,
different. That was definitely different than other times for
Mhm.
sure. What was coming through.
yeah,
Um,
you're gonna feel different.
so
But
drink water.
it was that
ground.
deep, it was that deep knowing that you are safe. That's what that was. It was like the deepest part of, you know, Prime Creator in your DNA, letting you know that you're safe to be here and create.
Absolutely. Yeah. Loved it. So powerful. And of course, you know, drink water, ground, etc. Go back and watch and listen again. And at the same time, give yourself some space to integrate. You know, so you know, this was very powerful. So give yourself time to integrate. Be, you know, kind to your body and to your fields to allow that space for yourself. Be gentle, right? And just you know, be aware, observe, you know, what you are perceiving, what you're processing, what's going on. Just, you know, just be in that 0 point field, right? That's what we always talk about. And so just be in that and just see, perceive, just observe basically, and just see how that is different than when you're in your head all the time and thinking and figuring out, etc. It's different, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
It is.
beautiful. Thank you. Some wonderful comments in the chat. Everybody says how powerful it was and helpful and absolutely. Yeah, so Krista, so she doesn't need to wait. She just bought the package because this process was so powerful.
Yeah.
Both of them, this one and the one before that we did, right? That was just like a you know, quickie. But yeah. So
Yes.
thank
Yeah.
you so much, Cathleena. Yeah, that
Mhm.
again, you know, your work is always so transformational and so powerful whenever you come on. Just love it. And it's, you know, if you're willing to just be even 5 minutes a day, just be, that will start to transform
Yeah.
your experience, right?
Yeah, because we're not taught to be in the present moment. We're taught to be in the past or the future, which are all an illusion. But remember, the present moment, being authentically in the present moment, you are one with everything. You
Yeah.
are literally your multidimensional self in physical form. You are pure source consciousness in physical form. And if you then remember the creative process in that moment, you can create everything that you desire.
Mhm. Yeah, powerful, so powerful. Thank you. And thank you everybody for all your questions and all your comments and feedback in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. I think we got all the questions. But you know, it's like this, I knew that this process was going to be amazing, but it was more amazing than even I thought it was going to be. So yay. So I will have the recordings out in a little while. So please stay tuned to the email so that you can go back and watch or listen. But I'll be honest, give yourself a day at least, you know, just because it's still working on you. Okay.
Oh,
So
yeah, it'll continue.
yeah, it's yeah. So be gentle with yourself, but their replay will be out shortly. And of course, please do take advantage of the package that Cathleena is offering. Like again, it's 9 weeks, and there's like this type of processes, but it's like a whole hour, an hour and a half or something. I don't even know. It's like it's a lot of work for your body and your system, but so transformational, so life-changing. So please do take a look at that, see what resonates with you. Again, there's a payment plan available, and if you are an Inner Circle member, please do use your gift code. Okay. So thank you so much, Cathleena. Thank you so much,
Well,
everybody. Continue to enjoy your weekend, right? It's officially the weekend for me now. So
yeah,
have a great weekend, everyone, and I will see you next week, either Monday or Tuesday. We'll see. Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Much love and blessing. Thank you, Cathleena.
take care. You're welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Again, sending you so much love and blessings. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.
So grateful for all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.